Episode 27 of the Swanglin Show. Joshua Dunn, as always, in the house, joined by my co-host, the now returning from abduction potential, baby-faced homecoming king, fickle freckle boy living in the sea, Kyle Newkleus Holsinger. What's up, my dude?
Glad to be back. Glad to be here. What's up, Grip? What's up, Stan?
Yo.
So, members of the fucking world-renowned conspiracy family are in attendance, as always, on the Swanglin Show, episode 27. Can you believe that shit, guys? 27 episodes of Swanglin already. We're going hard.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're just displaying the loyalty to the Swangle. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm sitting here in the Casa de la Swangle, we're going to talk today on episode 27 about loyalty, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about the concept of loyalty. We're going to talk about core values. We're going to talk about all types of good shit on the Swanglin Show like we always do. I got my man, Stan Edwards Jr., representing rapper Geek, Toledo, Ohio, in the building right now with me on the Swanglin Show, episode 27, inching closer to Vice's goddamn Swanglin Championship. Right now, Marinated Mitch is the motherfucking number one contender. It's clear cut at this point. He is very close to offsetting the championship, but my man Stan is always in the running, as always. He's like that fucking, the guy that just won't go away. You know, you think you got it narrowed down to one guy, and then boom, there's Stan. He's in the hunt again.
Yeah, I'm good with being Intercontinental Champion right now, but I'm coming for the heavyweight belt. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's a Swanglin Show first. You know, we now have a mid-card title on the Swanglin Show. He just claimed it, took it, said if I can't get to the top, I'm going to stamp myself right here where I'm at, and that's awesome. That's the type of shit we like to do on the Swanglin Show. So, Mr. Grippz, representing South Florida, Swanglin champion of all time, just international fucking. He's like the Planters peanut guy of Swanglin. That iconic Vice Grip, the Swanglin champion, is on episode 27 of the Swanglin Show. We're talking about loyalty today, right? So before we even get started, I just want to tell you guys, thank you very much for being my friends and being loyal to me over the years. We have all fucked with each other for a very long period of time. And it's something that I appreciate and I don't take for granted. I wanted to just let you guys know that off top.
That's family. That's the conspiracy family right there. Love y'all boys. We in it.
Okay, so loyalty, right? Everybody knows what loyalty is, right? It's your commitment to something. Here's some acronyms of loyalty for people that think that they're loyal. Allegiance, faithfulness, fidelity, obedience, adherence, devotion, bond, dependability, reliability, trustworthiness, dedication, commitment, consistency, stability, and steadiness. That's what loyalty is. Those are words that are held as equal to loyalty. So my man, Kyle Newkleus Holsinger, is in the house, as always, on the Swanglin Show. He's smiling. Something's going on to the immediate right of Kyle right now. And we got to ask him right now, what's your definition of loyalty?
Just being there, rain, sleet, hail, snow, good or bad. Because, like, being loyal to someone isn't always just telling them what they want to hear. Like, I've had friends go down some wrong paths, and by feeling my loyalty to them, I had to interject, have interventions, things like that. So sometimes loyalty is, sometimes people don't think you're being loyal to them by being loyal to them, but it's, having people, looking out for others, man, looking out for, the people that look out for you, I guess, in a sense.
Okay, I've seen some people say that loyalty, this is like one of those little meme quotes that you see like on a fucking image on the internet, that loyalty is what people say about you behind your back. Vice Grip, can you give me an example of one time where someone was where you had to defend somebody and display your loyalty towards somebody that was not present at the moment?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like, fucking even just like recently, a couple of days ago, I play games on PlayStation, and I got a whole bunch of friends that I run online with, and we be in voice parties on the headsets and whatnot. And fucking one cat, was annoyed at something in the match, so he said a couple words that were a little heavy and aggressive, a little heated, and then he dipped out the party. And then someone started speaking up, trashing him. And I'm like, yo, why didn't you say that while he was still here? You know what I'm saying? Because that was my boy. I mean, they both my boys, but I had to call him out. Like, yo, I'm going to call it spade a spade. You should have said all that shit when he was still here, so he could have said something. You wait till he dipped out the party and then started mouthing off immediately. Like,
Yeah. Hey, and people do that bitch ass shit all the time. And if you're listening to the Swanglin Show and you play PlayStation, you may be on the game For Honor, and you might have a dude on PlayStation Network named Mr. Grippz bust your ass on For Honor. I'm gonna give you a tip. This is what you don't do. When Mr. Grippz roasts you on For Honor on PlayStation 4 online, don't go to his music video and start talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit's happening out here. You're a sucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta do better than that, than taking it to the PlayStation, to the real world out here. You know what I'm saying? So
we live.
Shout out to the homie, the Swanglin Champion Vice, on doing some rage-esque shit and trolling people so hard via fucking PS4 that they're transferring over to his other platforms to continue talking shit. That's very good. So
fuck him though.
One example that they say is like an example of true loyalty is the relationship between a human and a dog, to where your dog never turns their back on you. You know what I mean? So shout out to the pet owners of this world. I got several dogs. I know Vice, you've been around dogs. I know Nuke. Shout out to Euchre. I know about Euchre, Nuke, the old school dog. So if you have a dog, that if you look at their behavior towards you, that's a good estimation of, and a good thing that you can use as a measuring stick for what loyalty actually is.
A lot of animals in general, you know what I'm saying? Because animals have that instinct to imprint. Some of them are not social creatures in nature, but and even sometimes they imprint. Like, bro, there's a crazy documentary on YouTube about this dude in South America that rescued a freshwater crocodile and wound up raising it. And he tried to put it out in the wild, and every time he brought it deep into the jungle, it would just find its way back to his home. So he just hung out with it, and the croc lived to be like 20-something years old or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Lived a long ass time. And he used to put shows on. He would like put it on its head. Like, yo, it was crazy, this relationship this dude had, and his whole family, because his wife and daughter would also handle this huge aggressive predator. And most people don't think, like mammals, dogs, cats, wolves, big cats, bears, mammals are what we are. So some people think that mammals have a more of a kinship to humans because we're the same type of animal. Some people think reptilians, because they're cold-blooded, they don't feel, they don't think. But, if you do research, some of them actually do, especially like Komodo dragons. Komodo dragons really like touch and being handled, and they imprint to their handlers a lot, and they can be very loyal.
Oh, dude, and speaking of the fucking Komodo dragon, I just saw a video yesterday of a Komodo dragon killing a monkey, and it was the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life, bro.
I saw that.
I see that shit
crazy.
Yeah, that was insane. Now, it's cool to be able to be on the Swanglin Show, be 27 episodes deep with the homies. That's real loyalty, showing it down for the motherfucking Swanglin in the 2022. I want to talk about, we've already talked about, like, as a concept, what loyalty is, right? So I want to talk about ways that you can show loyalty. Like, how do you say you're somebody that listens to the Swanglin Show and you're a little son of a bitch, you know what I'm saying? And you don't fucking, you've been disloyal in the past or whatever, or you want to change and be more loyal to the things that you're doing. We want to give them some advice and talk about ways to show their loyalty. And I'd say a good thing would be to be authentic to yourself and make sure you're keeping it 100 with who you are at all times. Don't do no backstabbing and don't talk about people and do that little shady move that a lot of people seem to do. Stan Edwards Jr., rapper Geek, episode 26 of the Swanglin Show. I need to know, what is a way that people can show loyalty?
One way I would say is, keeping consistent energy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you, you know what I'm saying? Like just don't switch up your energy. Don't, because you know how people, they'll do a whole lot up front. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to get a certain result out of you, or trying to get you to act a certain way or give them something. You know what I'm saying? And then once they feel like they got what they wanted, and in the beginning, then it's like, all right, I don't have to keep up the consistency. I don't have to keep showing the same behavior or energy that I showed at the beginning to get what I want. Like keep a consistent energy. To me, that's one way you can show loyalty.
I agree with you completely. I think that as I was going through those lists of acronyms or whatever for the word loyalty specifically, stability, steadiness, dependability, these are all things that could be directly drawn off what you're saying. So clearly that is great advice. Kyle, Newkleus Wholesinger, what's your take on that? What is your tip that you could give someone on how they can show loyalty?
Well, consistency is important, but it's like what are you loyal to? You gotta have something you stand for, whether it's your family, your friends, or I don't know, like your job, or I don't know, whatever. You got to figure out what you're going to be loyal to, or you got to stand for something. And so I would say just having the right priorities, prioritizing what you're going to be loyal to, and that'll save you a lot of time, especially. I don't know. I'm sure people have been here. I've been loyal to people that probably didn't deserve it over the years, and just kind of figuring out what's really important, so what to be loyal to.
I think that's great advice as well, because without like breaking down and prioritizing what you're living for and what you're trying to get to, how could you even be loyal to anything? You know what I mean? Yeah. You gotta have some core values, and that's another topic that I wanted to touch on the Swanglin Show. So we'll just segment into that right now since you brought that up. Okay, so like as a human being, right, you have fundamental beliefs or things that you believe in that are things that are like the centerpieces that drive you and keep you in the fucking game, right? Some of examples of core values would be like your commitment level, your passion. Are you dependable? Are you honest? Are you loyal? Are you efficient? Are you reliable? Are you positive? You know what I mean? I think that it's very important for people to have like a good grasp of the reality that these are the things that it takes, you know what I mean, to progress and go forward, and different principles that you have to apply in different structures and different things you kind of have to adhere to set yourself up to go all the way in with the Swangle move. So the Swanglin Heavyweight Champion Vice Grip, he's rocking these ill glasses right now. If you're watching the YouTube video, you see this dude, you don't even want to know what he paid for those down there in South Florida.
24 karat, you know what I'm saying? You get it.
Now, like while I was doing my research for the show and like going through and reading quotes and like, looking at people's top lists of signs of loyalty or how to be loyal in your relationship, a lot of the advice is for like a personal relationship, like dating or marrying or something like that. But then there's also different aspects that they talk about in business, how they expect customers to be brand loyal. And that's a thing as well. So is there anything, Vice, that like, say you'll go to the store and if you're going to buy a product, you buy a specific brand because you like it more?
No, I'm someone that always goes based off design. So like most of the stuff I wear, people wouldn't have heard of, because I like to get stuff that is kind of exclusive, that's not really well known. And I've always been like that. I've always, with music, movies, anything I'm into, it's kind of been off the beaten path a little bit. It's not really the popular thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I try and find the most creative. I value the most creative things. So, sometimes the most creative thing is the popular thing. So of course I've listened to, very popular music or watched popular movies or whatever. I don't make it sound like I'm only into the underground stuff, but I go where the quality is pretty much. So branding, I mean, the only thing I would say, like, I'll drive out of my way to go to a Wawa gas station because I believe their quality, they just brought them to Florida and it like blew my mind because cheap gas, good food, like the quality is just so much better. It's so far superior to every other competitor out there. So that's what I do. I look for quality, and that's something that goes to my tribe, to my Jewish soul. Like I want to get value in my money. So when I spend my dollar, I want to get the top return on that. I want to feel like it was a dollar well spent. So I want to maximize what I'm spending, and I go for quality. So that's where my loyalty lays. If something's quality, like I was having internet issues, and I told them, like, look, I've been with same bank for 20 years, this company for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you treat me well, I will chill, and if everything's kosher, we'll just keep running it back. We ain't gotta switch it up. But the second that you start making me regret spending that money, I'm gonna find someone that is gonna appreciate this money that I'm gonna spend with them. So you just gotta be loyal to who's loyal to you.
Oh, absolutely. But I think at this point you just stamped it. That's like the t-shirt quote, is my loyalties with quality. You know what I mean? That's a genius thing right there. I think that most people wouldn't even have the sack to straight say that. Like, no, I'm going where the quality's at. And that's a great
most people like, oh, I'm going to only rock Jordans. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? And, okay, if that's your style, that's your thing, that's whatever. Jordan, I'm not saying it's a bad quality. It's a really good quality. But, certain people are just going to stick with it for whatever reason. But to me, it's got to be the quality. What about you? What are some things that, would make you want to stick with something? Especially, I know you spend your money very effectively and efficiently. So what's something that's going to, bring you to shop with somebody in particular?
One thing that is a pretty much guarantee for me to shop with somebody is if it happens physically and they actually have a solid approach, I'm spending. Just because I understand that that's not on the fly. You know what I mean? Okay. There's technique involved in that. If I see somebody standing by what they're selling and it comes directly to me, I'll buy it. That's a 100% lock.
Facts.
So I guess my commitment also stands, and my loyalty also stands with quality, because it would be the craftsmanship of the sale. Like if someone can sell me, I'm spending it, just because I'm a hard bargain as it is. And I'm gonna make them earn a sale either way. But if they got enough game to come with it, bro, I know very quickly whether or not I'm gonna spend or not.
Word, you respecting the hustle.
Absolutely, dude. And it's happened to me multiple times. Like everywhere we go, pretty much somebody's trying to sell me something,
It's because you look like money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Step out looking like money.
And I'm going to tell you right this, if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, I'm not a fucking walking bankroll, you little son of a bitch. I got fucking bills, like a platypus and a duck. And we're talking about loyalty on episode 27 of the Swanglin Show. I've been listing off all these different core values, right? Listing off different ways to show loyalty. I think that we take a risk when we expect loyalty in return from other people, because we're kind of like predicting, and you become like invested in the results of somebody else's action that really plays no role of whether or not things actually go the way that you want them. If you are loyal to people, but you have to be loyal to people, because if you're not, no one will ever be loyal back to you. And there is no gray area when it comes to loyalty. It's very much so a black and white concept. Either you are, or the adverse, you are not. You know what I'm saying? So earlier in the episode, I listed off all those acronyms of the word loyalty. And you might want to hit the rewind button and go back and listen to those things. And if you find yourself you look at those terms and reflect them upon your life, and if you can't hold yourself accountable for those things, maybe you're not as loyal as you think. What do you guys
Bingo.
think about that concept?
Totally agree. Bingo. Hit it on the head. Yeah, like a lot of people think they're better than or in better situations what they are, or think they're better than this or that. And I think self-reflection, consistent self-reflection will determine that for you, whether you're loyal or not. So I'm with you on that.
Now, loyalty, in my opinion, is the most important quality that you can have as a person because of multiple reasons for me, right? Because I feel like when you're loyal to something and you're committed to it and you're going to see it through, you pretty much have so much on the line that you have to make the outcome be positive in some way, shape, or form. So if you're somebody that doesn't really have much of a wavering mind and you're able to kind of break things down and kind of just see what's in front of you, as you commit to things, they usually go the way that you want them to go because you never give up on them. You always make sure that the tide's always turning, even if you have a shittier moment in maybe like in business or in a personal relationship where things don't go the way that you want them to go. You always have the power to try the next day to continue to mold it in another direction. So you got to look at that conceptually long term when it comes to showing loyalty and being loyal. Now, I'm loyal to the Swanglin Show because I'm dangling. We invented Swanglin. We're the pioneers of Swanglin, if you will. One day they're going to say that, that we are the pioneers of Swangle.
Thanks.
And I think some other ways that we can brush up and touch on of ways to show loyalty is not being judgmental. I think, like Stan had mentioned, keeping your promises and keeping your word and standing on your own personal character is very, very important. I think another thing that's very important is forgiving people. Now, have you ever been in a scenario, Stan, where you have to show your loyalty by being forgiving?
That's a great question. Nothing really comes to mind as far as like forgiveness, because going back to what you just said, right, about not being judgmental. Like I always make sure I'm not judging anybody or anything. Like it's no matter like what somebody does, like at least, and it's easier said than done, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm always trying to like train myself to not judge them, not put them in a box. Like, okay, yes, they did this. Yes, they might have said that behind my back. Yes, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is like, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not about to judge them. So it's like, I don't feel the need to necessarily like forgive them. You know what I'm saying? So like, like I said, like going back to the whole like non-judgment thing, right? Like that's one thing that everybody fears. Like nobody wants to feel judged. Like nobody wants to feel like rejected. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know where I'm necessarily going with that, but yeah, no, I haven't had a moment like that.
Oh, well, that's excellent that you haven't had to experience that. I have, in some instances, had to show my loyalty by being forgiving. It's not really a cool thing to do. It's not a good look. So I'm very happy that you haven't. Oh, there's been multiple issues in that regard. When I was younger, you run with kind of fly by night crew, it's like whoever was trying to party was kind of your friend. And
right.
You see all types of shit out of people where you find shit out and you're like, well, okay, maybe I don't even know. Some people, they flip flop and they kick it with whoever, and you think but you don't really know people's intentions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in intentions, you should go check out episode 26 of the Swanglin Show, where me and Marinated Mitch, aka Mitch Millions, the #1 contender to the Swanglin Championship, did on some solo shit that just came out today, actually. So there's also a level of like involved in the concept of loyalty, in my opinion, that there's like a lot of dudes won't really address the vulnerability aspect of being loyal to somebody, or being loyal to a cause, or being loyal to a company, or being loyal to anything. Because when you make that commitment to be loyal to somebody or something or some business or whatever, you're giving them the opportunity to let you down. And that's just like the concept of trust. It's kind of an open-ended thing where it's like either you are or you are not. So if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, man, you can't be disloyal. We've talked a lot on this episode so far about loyalty. We have not at one point mentioned disloyalty, which is the opposite, is when people are on that fuckery, complete fuckery, pure fuckery, fuckery that some people would consider to be unadulterated in some ways, just legit fuckery. And I wish at this day and age right now in 2022 that we didn't have to say RIP to Mr. Rage, man, because I would love to hear his opinion live on the Swanglin Show about fuckboys and disloyalty. I feel
he'd have a lot to say.
I feel like we would definitely have went viral in that regard. So it's the Swanglin Show, episode 27. We're talking about loyalty. All of us, in reality, have been loyal to each other in many ways and shapes and forms over the number of years that we've all known each other via the conspiracy family. Now, have there ever been a moment for you, Kyle, specifically, where you expressed, like within a new scenario, whether it be business or personal, where you chose to be loyal to somebody and got burnt?
Well, like in relationships and stuff, you chose, people that it ended up not working out with. Business relationships, you choose the wrong vendor and realize real quick that was a bad decision. The thing that comes into my mind is like McDonald's. Like you were talking about quality earlier, and you could say whatever you want about McDonald's quality, but you know what you're getting when you go to McDonald's in Detroit, as in Toledo, as in Columbus, as in anywhere. You're getting the same Big Mac and stuff. And if you were to consistently not get that, like if you were to go to like 15 times a McDonald's to a different McDonald's and you're not getting the same thing and ordering the same thing, eventually you probably would be disloyal and maybe go to Burger King instead. And so when I'm thinking about it, like, because there is brand loyalty and like knowing what you're getting, even if you know it's not necessarily quality, but that's what you want. You're getting the trade-off. So
you're talking consistency,
right?
Yeah, I mean consistency. Like and so like in relationships, so like some people are only loyal to as far as their needs, and then once you can't give them what they want, then they're disloyal. And so you run into that too, where you think, you think people are 100 and they deserve your loyalty until they don't deserve it. So it's a guessing game, people put on a good front, businesses put on a good front. How many swindlers are there out there that go to jail every day for shit like that? So it's you try your best to figure out to be loyal to the right things. Sometimes you do get burnt. You just learn from it and move forward.
I like what you were saying too, because like about like businesses like burning people. There's a lot of people out here, they're just trying to extract value from everybody else, but they're not trying to give that value in return. Most people ain't willing to give more value than they receive in return. You know what I'm saying? And that, to me, like that's my core value actually, is make sure you always give value, not just trying to extract value.
Yes.
That's some gold right there. Vice, your thoughts on what Stan just dropped on us?
There's definitely some gold. It's a gem, because like that is really like the weight of who you are as a person. If you're extracting value from everyone and giving no value, you're a piece of shit. You're a little son of a bitch. But then
son of a bitch.
Then the closer you get to that middle ground where you're giving and receiving as much, then that's a pretty balanced life. And then if you're giving than you're receiving, then you're a good person. You're a high valuable person to the all. It just depends on, are you taking advantage? Are you equaling out? Are you being a good person? Like, that's really like the weight of someone's character. Like, I try to always give back where I can, because I know, life, my county, the area, like, just things have contributed to who I am as a person. So I want to contribute back to them. And that's just, like Stan said, that's part of my core value, is to give like I receive, in respective of everything.
Right. And like you said, like, oh, my bad.
Oh, no, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you mentioned the all, what I'm saying? Like, if you're not contributing to the all, if you're not contributing to this existence, the system, I mean, I know we don't necessarily like the system, but there's still a system. If you're not contributing to the system, what I'm saying, all you're doing is just taking from the system, expecting the system to contribute to you. Yep. Like you said, you're a piece of shit. You're a little some bitch.
But I think that's a powerful thing that you said, because the system is a great metaphor. So the system is a big mechanism that works, and all of us are little parts and pieces within that system, regardless of where you play. But most people don't realize that they are part of that system. So if you realize that you're part of this bigger society, then you can do things as an individual that'll have bigger effects, just by recognizing that you are a part of the system, that you are, whether it comes to voting or voicing your opinion, or doing what we do with our podcast right here, voicing our opinions about things. When you influence, just being nice to someone once a day can influence a whole thing. Maybe that person feels good, and then they go and they're good with their family, and then all the members of their family are nice to other people. Like, those are like little pebbles that ripple in the lake of life, and they branch out. You know what I'm saying? So the more good deeds, and the more, and on the opposite end, the more negative shit you do, it all reverberates. It's one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great point that you make, that like every good act, I feel like I'm not like a huge believer in like karma and like karmic, what they consider to be karmic law. I mean, I know that, I believe in the energy that I put out into the world. You know what I mean? I believe that energy exists, So a lot of the stuff that you're saying, Mr. Grippz, heavyweight champion of the world, is resonating real strong with me, because lately I've been going out of my way to try and be more giving, more selfless, more helpful. Like Stan had mentioned, give more value. And my thing is, I don't expect anything in return. Whatever comes to me. And that's the part, as I, get older and experience more and more, that I realize has to be the approach to take, is to always try and give that value, but do not focus on what comes back to you, because as it comes back to you, you got to soak it in as it's happening. Some game that you get put onto, you don't really fully adapt until years after the concept becomes familiar. So you kind of can't really gauge that in the same regard. Kyle, Newkleus Holsinger, the fickle freckle boy from the sea, the state champion, the homecoming king. What are your thoughts about that? About like the energy that you put out into the world coming back to you? How do you feel about that?
Well, I want to ask Kyle something. Do you know what tzedakah means?
Yes. I teach my kids about that. They have tzedakah boxes.
So please enlighten our audience.
Okay, my favorite part of Judaism, my favorite concept is called Tikkun Olam, and it's social justice and repairing the world, and the energy you put out coming back. It's about repairing the wrongs, that it's upon us to right the wrongs that are in the world. And tzedakah is charity. It's a means charity, but there's different forms of tzedakah. There's like charity where you give and you know who you're given to, and there's also like where the receiver and the giver do not know each other in any way, shape, or form, and there's different levels and altruistic levels to giving that go with that. That's awesome you brought that up. Another thing about so in business, you can give people quality while also getting, it can be, everyone can win in these situations. Like I had a situation. I ran a hardware store. I had an old man come in and said, look, I got this one like project. I'm sanding some stuff. I'm probably never going to need a sander after this. I just need something that's going to get me through the job. Cool. I could have sold this man some, the most expensive thing we got. I got him what he needed and saved him. I probably lost $20 to $40 total what I could have made on it. The gentleman came back with more projects, specifically asked for me, and spent hundreds of more dollars in there just because I saved him $20 to $40 on this one thing. And I genuinely knew that he would come back, because I gave him a good deal, but I also wanted to get him that good deal and get him what he needed, not what I wanted to sell him. And so we can all win. You can have these situations, and he bought from me after that. He was buying me and wanting me to take care of him because he knew that I was going to give it to him straight and get him what he needed. And I had other customers there that were like that too. They had a millionaire guy. He ran this big signage company. He got a lot of stuff from us. And he said he always asked for me because I was the only person around there that treated him like a regular Joe, a regular person. I wasn't just seeing dollar signs. Everyone else there just kissed his ass and did whatever to get a sale from him. I just was small talking and genuinely inquired about him and built a relationship and a rapport with that man. And we can all win in these scenarios. You can skin a sheep once and you could shear it over and over and over again.
Right.
That's a very good metaphor.
You can screw somebody over and get a payday, or you could just, do right by them and you can get paid consistently by doing.
Yep.
They'll buy from you.
Keep it culture, you know what I'm saying? That's how we do.
Okay, so it's the Swanglin Show, episode 27. And boom, Vice was mentioning earlier before we started recording about that special entrance into the match as the champion. But guess what? It's Marinated Mitch. Yeah, Marinated Mitch is in the house. Mitch Millions joins us. Continuing the streak, and now he's definitely solidified himself as the standing of the #1 contender for the Swanglin Championship.
Round of applause.
Marinated Mitch, we've been talking on this episode about loyalty, my friend. What is loyalty to you?
Loyalty to me. Sticking beside me, man. Not letting others talk about me behind my back. When I need you, I can call you. We do business, not trying to backdoor me, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to cut me out, cut me in. What else? Let's see. I don't know, just loyal to my feelings, you know what I'm saying? Loyal to the person that I am, the person I'm trying to become. Trying to help uplift me and better me, you know what I'm saying? When you're loyal to somebody, it's more than just, not backdooring them. It's love, and respect. Next question, please. No.
Okay. So, we're going to jump right into it. Swanglin Show. Marinated Mitch comes in with that heartfelt, you know what I'm saying? I seen you like dipped your one shoulder like you was fucking Clark Gable or some shit, and it was just.
He got the 90s R&B silk fucking house robe, you know what I'm saying?
Versace.
Oh, Versace.
Hey, look, I've seen it before.
Versace.
I've been in scenarios before where I've seen Marinated Mitch and other people as an ensemble just start singing, brother. And you don't want to see no shit go down like that when he's wearing a fucking silk top.
The Southern
It'll be going down.
I got a shirt on underneath it though, so I am progressing.
You let the taco meat hang out in the rain.
My taco meat is not hanging out, you know what I'm saying? I got it covered up.
And that's a first. I mean, if you guys know the history of Marinated Mitch, he's breaking ground on the Swanglin Show. Mitch has a shirt on, ladies and gentlemen. And now that we know that we're dropping classic content on him, since Mitch has clothed, you know what I mean? And we're talking about loyalty on episode 27 of the Swanglin Show. We've went over a bunch of different topics so far about like being dependable, being loyal, being honest. But one thing I think that we should really target is efficiency, because I feel like efficiency is a very big part of being loyal that gets overlooked, because when you're dealing with people, whether you're in like a personal relationship or you're doing business, it's important to not try and overtake and weigh heavy. I mean, you got to respect the fact that other people have interests and want to do business elsewhere as well, and want to be friends with other people and want to do all these fucking things. So you got to be efficient when you come in with your move. You got to know what it is that you can add to the people that you're fucking with, so that way they can know what to give you in return. Stan, your thoughts on
that? My bad. What was the question? My wife was texting me. What's the question?
I said
he was being loyal to wifey right quick.
That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a very good point. If you're listening to Swanglin Show, episode 27, be loyal to your wife like Stan Edwards Jr., because that's the right thing to do. So the question, though, is I was talking about being efficient in your relationships and knowing what it is that you're giving in order for them to know what to give you. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a good point. Like, I haven't really thought about that as far as like efficiency in a relationship. Like, that's something I'm gonna have to really think about, you know?
Yeah, I got something on it. It's like, okay, I had an ex-girlfriend a couple years ago that it's like when we weren't at work, she wanted every waking moment to be right there on my side. And if I was doing something else, like she'd get annoyed because the attention wasn't on her, and it was like smothering, you know what I'm saying? So she was not really being loyal to our relationship because she was kind of pushing me away with how fucking, you know, like, and then when I said something, it's like, okay, she wanted to just disappear for the day, you know, like go complete opposite. So the efficiency and how she was interacting with me socially in that relationship was kind of not loyal to what our intentions were. If we're supposed to try to, you know, work on something, build something, you want to be together, then we got to be efficient in how we interact with each other.
Okay, so balance. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah. That's definitely important. Like, you know, you gotta understand when, and it really is just like paying attention, like speaking from a relationship standpoint, right? Like, it's all about paying attention to who you in a relationship with. Like, okay, I know that my partner is, you know, is going through something right now or had a rough day at work. So I'm gonna give her space. You know what I'm saying? But then once she's had her space, and I know she's had her space, even if I'm in my zone now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, all right, now she needs, you know, company and all of that, companionship and all of that shit. So, you know, being willing to break out of being in your own zone and like giving them that companionship, you know what I mean? Instead of just staying all the way, like you said, Grip, like just staying all the way over in your zone, or just like going from one extreme to the next. You know what I'm saying? Like meeting somewhere in the middle, like, all right, I'm not really in that headspace right now, but you know, I'll meet you where you at, you know. And that takes a lot of emotional control and emotional intelligence to be able, you know what I'm saying, to be able to do that. And not a lot of people can do that.
I agree with you completely. And there's that whole subject of emotional intelligence. We could do a fucking series of an entire series of episodes.
That's a long one.
about emotional intelligence. But as we transition into that, well, for sure.
Men, we don't, you know, as a kid, you're taught to repress your emotions. The only emotion I really understood how to, like, happiness and anger is pretty much the two of anything, but there's a wide, you know, it's like chicks being like, oh, how come you don't express your emotions? Because men don't really talk about their emotions, you know. They started to now, society's kind of changing a little bit, but you know, it's not something that we all grew up with from our generation.
Well, I think that, like you had said, it is becoming more prevalent, more common for people to talk about their emotions, their mental health. I feel like our generation of men is changing and leading a different way than maybe generations previous, and maybe that's because of the influence of maybe social policy and just the way that in the United States everybody's kind of just intermingling. It's kind of a free-for-all out here. We kind of all have parents and family members that went through fucking you know, the era of America that is super fucked up, not as bad as like, you know, the crazy racism riot days and shit, but as far as like drug abuse and the prison system and shit, like there's a lot of trauma and things that people of our generation and before, like the later end of the generation before us, we've experienced things that no other generation has. So in order for us to proceed forward and be loyal and be honest and be dependable and kind of stand on some of these things that maybe were like, people would say would be like the stuff that would be handed down to you from your fucking grandpa or something like that. Like the things you got to stand on as a fucking man to just kind of provide and lead forward. Kyle, Newkleus, Holsinger, we had someone, the conversation had switched, and I think it was Stan that had mentioned emotional intelligence. If you were able, I know you've done a lot of research on the subject of emotional intelligence in general from previous conversations that we've had personally or whatever. If you were able to kind of give like a brief synopsis, if you will, of emotional intelligence for the listeners of the Swanglin Show in relation to how that would maybe pertain to loyalty, what would you give to them?
First and foremost, trying to become more emotional intelligent as a person is a form of self-loyalty. And that's something that's important too, is being loyal to yourself. But emotional intelligence is just, it's the same thing as it's having a knowledge and an understanding of the emotions that you're having and trying to acknowledge, diagnose, and deal with them, as opposed to suppressing them and having them come out and manifest in other ways, as in bad health or bad choices, or, you know, exploding on people. So if you can master identifying emotions as you're having them and acknowledging them for what they are, it could put you in a lot better situation. That's where, like, when someone will blow up on me and I don't even like take it personally, because I realize, you know, this really isn't about what we're talking about at the moment. There's a little more. You're taking something else out on me too, you know, to start to be able to see things from the other person's perspective and not just instantly react back. Because if you don't have that emotional intelligence, then in a way you're just like an animal, and people can push your buttons the right way, send you to jail. So, you know, put you in situations where, you know, if you just react and you don't have the emotional intelligence to realize that someone's pushing your buttons, you could put yourself in a worse situation real quick.
Oh, dude,
basically,
definitely.
they control you.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah,
that concept in general goes to the adverse of what the core values that we talk about on this fucking show, and it's the opposite of the show topic. And Marinated Mitch, I got to get your opinion on this, man. What do you think about disloyalty?
Disloyalty? Don't like it, man. I hate disloyalty at all aspects of life, man. To me, when somebody looks out for you, man, you got to look out for them, and that's what keeps the world going around. But it's so much more common now, you know. I feel like in life, I feel like when we were younger, you know what I'm saying, families and friends, they were a lot more loyal to each other. You know, if you said somebody was your brother, you didn't cross him, you didn't try to get to his girl, you didn't try to go behind his back for business or none of that. You know, everybody ate together and everybody had that respect between each other. And now I feel like, you know, that respect is done, you know, kind of withered out of our culture, or not necessarily all the way out, but it's not as strong as it used to be. And now that disloyal characteristic is starting to come up in a little bit of some people, you know, and it might be your brother, your sister. We were talking about the other day, like it could be people that you love, you know, and they don't want to see you do more than what they're doing necessarily sometimes, and so they just become disloyal. Well, in the end, it's only going to hurt them. You know, we all know that, you know, being loyal to people and building groups of loyalty is going to take you way much further in life than being disloyal and trying to backdoor everybody just because it's a cheaper price, you know. Like I said, man, I'm not for none of that disloyal thing, man. I'm all about being loyal to mine. And if anybody's there for me, I'm always going to be there for them, man. To me, that's how the world works, man. Is keep it positive, you know what I'm saying, and keep uplifting people and staying behind their back, man. Just flat out.
Oh yeah,
Bro.
that's. Go ahead, Stan.
I was gonna say real quick, I just wanted to respond to what Mitch said. That was, you know what I'm saying? Like that was gold for real. But like at the end of the day, like whether it's like now or whether it was back in the day, because you mentioned like back in the day when people were loyal, people are always gonna go for what's most beneficial to them. Like what's gonna get me what I need in life. And back in the day, me getting what I needed in life required me to be loyal to my family, to the people around me. You know what I'm saying? Because I needed them to get what I needed. You know what I'm saying? Or would get what I wanted. Now it's so much more of an individualistic society that you don't necessarily have to be loyal to people, you know what I'm saying, in order to get what you want or to get what you need or get your needs met. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, the world is moving away from a much more loyal mentality because it's easier to get what you want without the benefit or without the assistance of people around.
I think I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because maybe some people just don't recognize how they're benefiting from other people. So even though their intentions are only to benefit themselves, you can't do anything in life without other people. Whether it's business, you need people to shop with you. Whether it's working a job, you need someone to hire you. Whether it's having an education, you need someone to teach you, or read a book that's something that someone else wrote to teach you. Like people always are going to benefit from others. I think it's the disloyalty in that is the intention of the person that's going through that is only in it for themselves, and they don't respect or recognize how other people are helping them to get to whatever it is they are. Because they're probably just like, I know people that are like that. They're like, I'm gonna just step on these heads and get where I need to go. You know what I'm saying? And when someone's not of use anymore, they just switch it to somewhere else. I used to call it coattail riding. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they ride that person's coattails until it's not moving no more. Then they jump off to the next one and yada, yada, yada. And they plug themselves in and go from here to there and, connect dots and everything. But, to me, that's a very, like you said, individualistic mindset. And it's, I think, a result of all the technology and the internet. Like you can plug yourself in different avenues really a lot easier now than ever in history because of the accessibility of, look, we're all in different areas of the country and we do the podcast. So we're able to be loyal and be a team even at distance because of, applications like Zoom and our smartphones and the internet and all this technology. So, really, those are tools, and it's the intention of how we use them that's either loyal or disloyal.
Oh, man. I feel like we got some intermingling topics and we're building some real rapport here. You got to check out episode 26 of the Swanglin Show where me and Marinated Mitch chop it up about intentions. And then we're here on episode 27 of the Swanglin Show talking about loyalty, talking about how Marinated Mitch, he just can't fucking stand that disloyal ass bullshit that you little son of a bitches are doing out here in Harrison, Arkansas and other places of the country where you're on that fuckery. So, this has been a really solid conversation, in my opinion, of us talking about different things based around the concept of loyalty. I feel very grateful to be able to have homies like you guys and people that's in my corner that I know wouldn't steer me in the wrong direction and would, if I needed something or if I was ever struggling or something, I don't feel like my loyalty would not pay off. You know what I mean? I'm never in a scenario in my older age, really, to where people can really harm me with disloyalty because I don't expect anything from anybody. I just kind of serve and I do my fucking part and I want to fucking make everybody around me happy. I want to contribute to people's successes. I want to see everybody be successful. So outside of that, like my thought process latched to other people's loyalty doesn't really exist anymore, to where it's like, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Because I'm loyal to myself and I'm loyal to the world and I'm loyal to my family and I'm loyal to the things that are important to me because I carved out to me in my mind what is important to me. So if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, make sure you prioritize and know, like Kyle had mentioned earlier, what to be loyal to. Kyle, Newkleus, Whole Singer, the fucking homecoming king. What are you loyal to, my friend?
My religion, my family, and my vocation, which is my job and also my content that I put out. And I also want to point out that the great Ohio State Buckeye coach Woody Hayes said, "You win with people," and that is true in anything, in any corporation, any business, any family, any entity that's ever going to succeed. It ain't going to just be one person. You win with people.
Yeah.
Mitch, what are your thoughts on that Woody
I was
Hayes
just gonna
quote?
throw a stamp on it, man. Like every time I come up to Ohio, man, and we're by that stadium and it's game day, man. How many people you see walking down the street? I'm talking just trying to get the game, and every one of them got on them Ohio State Buckeyes jerseys, and you could tell that y'all are a true loyal state to y'all's fan club or to your football team. You know what I'm saying? And like our fans, they're loyal to an extent, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as some people get to lose, and their loyalty just goes out the window. And like I said, every time I've been up there, oh my gosh, man, there's so many damn people walking down the streets just to get to that game. I don't care if it's cold, if it's whatever. They're all out in the streets and they're on their way to go support, you know, and show their love, you know, for their community and the team. And like, to me, even if they were a losing team, you know what I'm saying, that speaks volume, you know what I'm saying, to have people in power like that, you know what I'm saying, walking together, people that don't know each other coming together, you know, for a common interest. And I don't know, loyalty just, man.
So Mitch, you just said even if they're a losing team, we're just
even if they're a losing team.
Yeah, we're going to clarify on the Swanglin Show that the team in reference that you're talking about, the one that resides in Columbus, Ohio, is not a losing
Oh no, they're
team.
not. They're not.
We're
they're
talking.
not.
We're talking about.
Very good.
We're talking
Y'all are
about
good.
winners over here, and Newkleus is dropping the Ohio State Buckeyes quotes from Woody Hayes. So, you bring up football, you know, and sports is a great way for people's children through youth programs to learn traits of loyalty and traits of hard work and dedication and respect and a lot of stuff like that. So if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, don't be scared to get your kids out there playing some football or some volleyball or some basketball or whatever, because they'll learn something from that shit. If you make them go hard at it, they're going to learn some shit. Newkleus is pulling out the sports references on the loyalty, and Marinated Mitch is dropping in the football references. Right now, when we're recording this episode, it's January 23rd, and yesterday, the Cincinnati Bengals, led by the Ohio boy, the former Ohio State Buckeye, win the upset victory, second straight playoff victory. You're talking about football loyalty, Cincinnati fucking Bengals fan base. There's probably nobody in the world right now that's on a higher fucking cloud than these people, and they deserve it very much because that is their loyalty and their energy paying off finally. And I'm just so glad to see it's the Ohio dude that's doing it, because it makes it mean more to us, because people from Ohio very prideful about Ohio. Stan, what's your opinion on that? Do you believe that, like, I know you've been to different parts of the country and shit. Do you believe that people from Ohio, there's just a thing that is like Ohio versus everybody, like a fucking, everybody's like super Ohio proud. It's like a thing.
Thanks. Like, you have to be, let me tell you something. You have to be a very loyal person to be a Cleveland Browns fan, right? Like, and it's being a Cleveland Browns fan, like, you got to get used, you got to be okay with being heartbroken every year. You know what I'm saying? So, but Ohio, like, we ride for everything Ohio. And like, even right now, like I said, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, but I'm really pushing for them Bengals. Like, I'm really pushing for them Cincinnati boys. So I'm real happy for, you know, everybody that's repping Cincinnati right now, because that's big for Ohio.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got this vision right now. CJ De Niro, the king of the wing, the fucking ultimate Cincinnati Bengals fan, dude. He's gonna be salty he didn't be a part of this conversation on the Swanglin Show as we're talking about the Bengals, because I know he's hype and he deserves it, because like you said, you know, people in Ohio, man, they ride for them sports teams, and it's crazy how it gets down out here. And I've always heard that in similar regard, it's like that in Florida and Oklahoma and Texas, and there's a lot of different communities across the United States where they're very football heavy. Motherfuckers don't play around about that football, especially like that Friday night football, that high school shit.
Like you said earlier, it depends on what you're loyal to, because some people, you know, a lot of people talk shit about Miami being kind of bougie. Some people down here are loyal to the result. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're only loyal when we're doing good. Winners. There's the hardcore fans, like I mean, we ain't got to bring up the Dolphins, but
yes, we do.
We've been suffering for a long time, and we still support, we still get hype. And then at the end of the day, we say, damn it, same old Dolphins, maybe next year, So, like, there's no result with the Dolphins, but you still have a good, loyal fan base and worldwide because Josh is a Dolphins fan. He's all the way up in Ohio. So, people will stay loyal to the team. But in the more, like, you get the fringe fans that want to be in the happening things. So when we're winning, like when LeBron came down here and the Heat were just, nonstop smoking, going to the finals, just like on fire all the time. You saw a lot of fringe fans come out of the woodwork. Some people are just fans of players and they're not loyal to the team. They'll just follow the player. Like I got a buddy that's just a LeBron fan, and whatever team he's on, he's gonna like that team.
Yeah, I have to interject right now. That wave that you saw during that time period, that was all the Miami Heat fans plus the whole entire state of Ohio wanting LeBron James to win a championship. so it was us. That's who that wave was that you saw during that time period.
Yeah.
So on episode 27 of the Swanglin Show, man, I'm feeling super grateful and feeling like $1 million because I got the loyalty of the whole entire squad, the conspiracy family, as we put it down on these episodes of these podcasts, always chopping it up, always trying to grow, always trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about loyalty. We've talked about disloyalty. We've had, Marinated Mitch makes an epic appearance. You know what I'm saying? Slides in halfway into the thing. We didn't even think he was coming, and boom, there he is.
I thought I was gonna gain ground on my number one competitor right now. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
cooking for my kids. It was like, oh shit, hold on, y'all. I'll be back. Can't miss today.
I thought I was putting another +1 on the board, but maybe next time. We'll see.
I snuck in at the end.
Marinated Mitch has those core values of what it takes to be the Swanglin Heavyweight Championship. So does Stan Edwards Jr. And if Kyle wasn't disqualified in the running for the Swanglin Heavyweight Championship, he might be able to sneak on one of you and one day hold the gold in his own right. But I feel like if Kyle was ever the Swanglin Heavyweight Championship, it would have to be the like pre-abduction, full beard Zeus Kyle. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he looked like a little boy right now.
Amber.
Yeah, babyface ain't coming for that title, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we in this world, we love pro wrestling on the Swanglin Show, so we got to have the baby face, we got to have the heel, we got to have this internal conflict built within, and that's something that's going to keep these people listening in to the Swanglin Show. So if you've been jamming our content, if you've been loyal to us, if you are a loyal person in general, just kudos to you. You know what I'm saying? We mentioned the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, the owner, he's the ultimate little son of a bitch. And we're going to let that be known on the Swanglin Show, episode 27. We've been chopping it up about loyalty, disloyalty, emotional intelligence, all just great concepts and things that we were going to continue to talk about and build on the Swanglin Show. As we wrap it up, it's Joshua P. Dunn in the building with my co-host, Kyle Newkleus, whole singer with the Illuminati symbolism, the ultimate good guy, the fucking homecoming king, the babyface, joining me as my co-host. We're joined by always a pleasure to have Stan Edwards Jr. You need to look him up and check his content, Rapper Geek. He's dropping some fire on the internet. We got my man, Marinated Mitch, the official Arkansas representative, the 100% solidified #1 contender for the Swanglin Heavyweight Championship, coming and dropping gems. Very grateful to have you on the show, Mitch, and my guy.
Glad to be here, bro.
Mr. Grippz, the dude that fucking sent me earlier today. I sent Vice this morning a video of us getting pummeled by snow here in Ohio as I'm driving in my car. And this fucking guy, this little son of a bitch, man, he fucking sends me back a video and says, I don't know if I can go outside with this 3, or what'd you say? 3
I don't know.
inches
We gotta
sunshine
measure.
or something.
We gotta measure it real quick. Hold on, let me flip the camera around. Fucking looks like about 5 feet of sunlight now.
Yeah, fucking son of a bitch.
About 5 feet of sunlight. I don't think I'm gonna be making it outside to the store no time soon, unless it just kind of dials back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out for them palm trees.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yo, it's for real midwinter out here. It's a cool 62 outside.
Oh man. So as we mentioned before, we got baby faces and we got heels. The ultra villain, Vice Grip, looking like a motherfucking goddamn old school Nikolai Volkov looking ass trying to flex the Swanglin heavyweight championship.
You know, they already assuming the Russian's gonna be the bad guy.
He only lives where there's sunlight. He only wears expensive frames. I mean, the bar's getting set high for the Swanglin heavyweight championship. This dude's like fucking Ric Flair.
Woo! You already know.
Now, if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, we appreciate you very much. Make sure you go in and follow us on all platforms. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, leaving comments. Do your part to help us get some shit popping over here, man, because we don't have a huge audience, but we're fucking with you if you're listening. So just let us know what you want to chop it up about, man. We'll chop it up on the Swanglin Show. Episode 27. The main thing that I drew from today about loyalty, and the final note I want to put on this episode, is to don't afraid to be vulnerable and make sure you put yourself out there and invest in other people because it's going down. You might get something real long-term, you know what I'm saying, if you hold it down, and be loyal to other people. As always, Swanglin for life. Rick's Dangling.